So I'm back with Winhance release number 16, which is version 26.01.26. And in this video, I just want to take you through the changes that I implemented in this release. And although there's not a lot of changes, there are some important things that you'll need to know if you ran any of the previous versions of Winhance. So let me get right into it. So first off here, I improved the edge removal and OneDrive removal scripts so that they do a better job of removing those items and also cleaning up after they're done. And I also added version numbers to these scripts so they auto update once Winhance releases a new update if they're out of date. So let me just quickly explain what this first one means. In the previous version of Winhance that you can see here, some users had this issue where Microsoft Edge as well as OneDrive still showed as installed on their systems, although it was nowhere to be found. You can see if I go through the start menu here, there's no Microsoft Edge, but there is a broken OneDrive link here to launch it, which just doesn't work. You can just delete the shortcut. But nonetheless, it showed that OneDrive and Edge was still installed on the system, but they're nowhere to be found. You can't use them. And this was actually just related to Microsoft Edge and OneDrive being able to be installed on a per user basis for a user account, a specific user account, or it can be installed machine-wide. And the first versions of these scripts just didn't properly take that into account to remove both of the instances, the user and the machine-wide installation of these apps. So basically what this means is if you're still on one of the older versions, I've got version 26.01.19, which is the one I released a week ago, just before today's release. And if you just go ahead and launch Winhance, you'll be prompted to install the latest update. But you can also just click on the check for updates button here, which will tell you that an update is available. And if you want to install it, I'm going to go ahead and install it now so I can demonstrate to you what's going to happen here. Now, before I actually go ahead and install this update, I just want to show you that when I initially did the edge removal and OneDrive removal on this computer here, the timestamp was 546 and 548. So that's important because when I install this new version of Winhance, it's automatically going to update those script files. So take note of the timestamps there, 546 and 548. So I'm going to close that for now, and I also need to close Winhance before I can update it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to launch it with the latest version, which is today's version, version 26.01.26. And you'll see the Explorer process just restarted. And that's actually the OneDrive removal script getting rid of some of the leftover files that the previous versions of Winhance didn't do. So it's normal to see that. It has to do that. And then once it's launched on the new version, you'll be able to see that Microsoft Edge is no longer installed. It's not showing as installed anymore, as well as OneDrive right below it there on my screen. Microsoft Edge and OneDrive is now completely gone and uninstalled, and it was actually uninstalled, but there were some remnants left in the older versions of Winhance. So now it's completely uninstalled and there are no traces of it. So that'll happen automatically if you had the Microsoft Edge and OneDrive removal scripts on your computer. If you did not have these scripts or these scheduled tasks, then Winhance won't automatically force them and apply them. It'll just skip it. And if you happen to do a Microsoft Edge or OneDrive removal, it'll now use the new script files. And like I said, if we go to the folder containing these, the timestamps have now changed on these files to when I just ran the updated version. And if we also open one of these files, you can see it now contains a script version right there. Next up, I improved the app installation status detection accuracy by removing registry and fuzzy matching based logic and relying on the winget export command, the results that I get from that to determine the installation status. And I also added diagnostic logging for easier troubleshooting. And I guess at the same time, I can mention that I added portable app handling in the external apps as well to fix the installation status detection for portable apps, because previously portable apps were not marked as installed at all. Winhance just had no way of checking if they were installed or not. So you can see here that I've got Brave installed, and I actually think I have 7-zip installed as well. So if I navigate to the external software here, you can see that Brave is marked as installed and then 7-zip as well. Now, this is all happening in the back end just to fix some of these installation status indicators. It's basically just using a method that's more reliable than the previous methods that I were using to check the installation status of these items that you can see in the external software. Now, some of these apps are portable apps, meaning they don't actually get installed on the system. It's more of a zip file that gets extracted with the executable of that app that can then run on your system so you can actually use the program. So the ones that I tested this with was the Snappy Driver Installer Origin, and then as well as O&O Shutup 10. So I'm going to select both of those and then install them. So we'll go ahead with the installation. So you can see the installation's just completed. The status indicators are now green, meaning both of these apps are installed. So if you then go to the Start menu, then you'll be able to launch these apps. For example, I'll be able to launch O&O Shutup 10. And when I try to launch the Snappy Driver Installer Origin, I see that it doesn't work for some reason. So that's another bug that I'll have to fix. Remember, Winhance is a work in progress. But what you can do is you can right click on the link in the Start menu, go to More, and then open File Location, which will open the shortcut. And if you right click on the shortcut and then click on Open File Location again, it'll actually show you where Winget installs these files, because Winhance currently only uses Winget to install these external apps. So you can get the file path if you want to copy the files. But I see in this case, it just took the wrong application. It got the SDIO translation tool and not the actual executable. So I'll just fix that in the next update. But for now, you can see how you can actually get to the file paths of these portable apps for the coming week, because next week I'll release a new update to Winhance, and then this will be fixed in that update. Then while we're in the external apps, I also just added UltraViewer, which was a request. So you can see if I do a search for UltraViewer, it's found in the remote access section. And then lastly, I added a hover indicator line on the settings card for better visibility. So if we go back to Winhance and we go to the customize section, for example, users complained that while they're looking on the right here, they accidentally toggle settings that they didn't want to toggle because there's a lot of space between the toggle and the actual description. Now this gets worse on higher resolution monitors like 4K monitors, and I understand that. And they gave some suggestions as well as to how I can fix this. But in the end, I went with adding this small indicator line on the left here. If I hover over this choose your mode settings card, you can see that there is a yellow indicator line on the left there. And then as I go through each of these settings cards, you can see exactly which setting you will be changing if you just glance over to the left. Now, if you were to change your Winhance theme, the indicator line would just be blue, and you'd still be able to see what setting you're currently hovering over so that you don't accidentally apply a setting that you didn't want to apply. But those are all the changes in Winhance release number 16. And like I said in previous update videos as well, I'm relying on you guys in the community to help me make Winhance better. I'm a solo developer working on Winhance, and I prefer it that way. I want to make all the code changes myself, but I'm relying on you guys in the community to report bugs and to come up with new features and ideas. And I'm not saying that I'll implement every single one, but I will take it into account and into consideration. If you find any bug in the application or something that you want to report, you can just click on the bug icon at the top there. It'll prompt you to open it in your default browser, which will take you to the Winhance issues page. And from here, you can just create a new issue and describe what you found or any feature requests that you might have. And then I'll start working on that as I work through all of these other issues that I currently also have. But I'm really enjoying this process, and to every single one of you who's supporting the project and sponsoring the project financially, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're what keeps us going and what makes this project possible for me to work on this every single day. So with all of that being said, try out the new update. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll talk to all of you soon.